In this video, we're going to look at yet another variant of the event loop, which is the loop that's provided to us by SFML. SFML is a high-level graphics library which is available on Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and probably, like SDL, a number of portable platforms as well, in addition to possibly some game platforms and maybe some mod platforms. So we're going to first use vcpkg in order to install SFML. And hopefully that won't take too long. I've already had it installed. Boot up Visual Studio while we wait. Visual Studio Preview 2017 being freely available on the Microsoft website. SFML is a C++ library. Once this finishes copying, we're going to be building a small application whose entire purpose is, again, to demonstrate that we'll be sleeping and doing as little work as possible on the same sort of evented I/O principle that we've examined so far in Python, in Node, and in C using libuv. Again, mentioning that libuv is the foundation of Node.js. Alright, so now we'll be able to pull in system headers, window header, and the graphics header. What we're going to first do is create a render window, which takes as its first argument a video mode, which we'll specify as just being, say, an 800 by 600 window, or we'll go with a 720p window, and a title. So we'll just call this SFML testing. Now, if we refer to our event loop diagram, then we'll think, alright, so the main functions come into preparing our event loop, preparation phase. Now we're going to say while window is open. So creating this concept here of is the app open, and we are going to have within this scope an event object that we are now going to enter into this event processing loop, because we are going to call under the window object a function called poll event, which, like our polling for timeout events in the previous examples, is going to fill the event structure each time that it executes. And when it is done processing events, when there are no more events events available pending in the queue, then this will return a blank or null value, and we will be free to the next iteration of the loop. So in this case, we have an opportunity to examine every event that passes through the Windows poll. So we will look at those events, and we'll say, in the case of an event that is a closed event, we want to tell the window we were going to terminate now. There are many other events that we can handle. Mouse events, keyboard events, window resizing events. With the IntelliSense and Visual Studio, it's fairly clear how you would build event handlers for each of these type of events if you were trying to establish a game and not an event loop example. Each loop or each frame of this game engine, it's not a game engine, it's an example, but do something like that. And now we find that again we've met this same structure. Let's see if this compiles and works. So it's opened up a 1280 by 720 window, and now it should close without a problem. There we go. Okay. So that's the simplest example of having an event loop in the form of a game engine. If, say, we added event keyPressed if event dot key dot code And in this example, we've added an extra event so that pressing Q on the keyboard causes the application to terminate. Or, again, in the concept, or in the example of our PDF, the app running is not so much a variable as it is whether or not the window is open, which is a Boolean we can request from the window with this method. As one final quick look at SFML as a rendering library, I'm just going to quickly paint a rectangle every frame to show you what a convenient library this can be if you're looking to prototype some kind of UI or GUI experiment. Let's say we want to render this on the lower right, 128 by 128. We'll draw a green square. Fairly easy to reason about textures, objects, and all sorts of events using SFML. Another nice thing about the SFML library is that if you're looking to bootstrap a 3D application fairly quickly, it also provides some utility functions to, like glut or GLFW, quickly create an OpenGL context and work with it as well.